Alright, this is going to be a quick walkthrough of the 24 hours of MEWC. So this is a racing type case where we have a track with braking, steering and acceleration phases. Quite nice that they've given you the number of cells here. Drivers, what team they're on and their stats. So you've got steering, braking and acceleration, which corresponds to these cells. And then you've got endurance and nighttime driving. So let's get right into it. How many drivers have at least 2 attributes above or equal to 80? So we can say equals these greater than or equal to 80, and then we just want the sum of that, so sum of minus that. So that's how many attributes are above 80, and we want to know how many of those are above or equal to 2. So again, we'll do a minus around that. And the sum of those is 66. And then we have you are provided a French language version of the schedule, start time of 16 hours, how many seconds will have elapsed in the race when the time is 21:23. So this is just about knowing how to minus times off each other. So I can say equals time, and we've got 21 hours, 23 minutes, 0 seconds, minus time, and then we have 16 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, and we need to, that's going to be in proportion of a day. So to get it in seconds, we need to times it by 24 to get hours, times 60 to get minutes, times 60 to get seconds. Okay, find a team that has the smallest number of the 15 attributes of its drivers. What is that number equal to? So I just need to say filter all of this where the team equals this. I should put some locking on this. And what you'll get is you'll just get the 15 attributes out for that team. So you just sum that up. And the minimum is 487. Next 2 bonuses relate to questions, so let's get all the questions done. For each driver, what is the sum of their attributes? So XLOOKUP driver, and here give me all of their attributes, and we want to sum them all together. Missed some locking. For each of the drivers below, which is their highest attribute value. So we can XLOOKUP the driver in here. Again, give me the same stuff back. So that's going to give me like the 5 attributes across, and then I can say biggest, need my lambdas. Biggest of those, and return these. This is like a exact match next larger item XLOOKUP. That's all I should have to do. What is the average of the given attributes for the 3 drivers from the teams? So I'm going to say XLOOKUP steering in here. Give me all the stats for steering, and then that's going to give me a big list, a big array of all the steering values, and I want to filter that array for where the team is what's given in the question. So you'll see we get the 3 attributes for steering for that team, and then we just want the average of those, and we need to round it to 0 decimal places. So I have a shortcut for that. It's Control-Shift-Z, which wraps everything in around 0. That's a robot command. Now it gets a little more complicated. We have a driver's speed over 1 cell is based on their stats for that 1 cell. So the base time is 4 seconds, but they get a reduction based on their attribute points. So if they had 10 attribute points, they'd get 0.2 seconds off of that cell time. So first off, let's get the base time per cell. So look up braking in here and return here. And I don't actually need to change these. If you look in the formula bar, they are numbers, they're just formatted to put some text on the end. But here I want to get rid of the space cells with nothing to turn them to that. So 4 seconds per cell, and I want to plus a T lookup of this table with our driver and their stats times XLOOKUP braking in here again to get me the deduction per point. That gives me 2.02, but we're doing 100 laps, so we want to basically times that by 100. So equals that times 100, and that's it. And then we have nighttime driving and endurance. So basically the same thing again, but if they are driving at a certain time of day, they get another deduction based on their attributes. So to get those attributes out, I basically want to look up to the time, but these are formatted like quite horribly. So I'm just going to write the times in this format, and I'm going to write only the first time so I can look up exact match or next smaller item. So 4 p.m. is 1600, 10 is 22, 4 a.m. is 04, then 10 a.m. is 10. Now the only problem is if I had something like 1 a.m, there's nothing smaller than that in this list to look up to. So I need to put midnight in here as well. Whenever I'm working with times, you can either plus 1 onto the next day, but then I need to plus it onto all these days to make it work. Or the easiest way is just to insert something here, because I know midnight falls in this gap. So I can put midnight here and just copy the stats over. So let's just grab this formula again and copy that here. So this gets me the 202, and now I need the nighttime modifier. So let's do stats be xlookup the player in. My child is shouting yellow. I don't know if you can hear that, but quite funny. That's their stats. Let's just pull that out so you can see. So this is their stats for this stuff, and then we want to look up the time. So let's get modifier is look for the time in here and give me back these. And I want to say exact match or next smaller item. So let's just give me modifier out. As you can see, we pull 5% and 20% out of here. So it's 1155, so it's actually coming from this one. So I need to do 1 plus their stats times by the reduction. So just lock that. And that should give me certain percentages there. And then I need to times that whole thing by their modifiers. So I get 4.6% and 19% modifier, so I need to do the product of those. But first let's let's add 1, so it's plus 1 to those, and then do the product of them. So we can do product of that stuff, and there's our modifier. So we should just have this times this, and then we need to times 100 and round it, so I have a shortcut for that. And now the next question is to get a full lap time. So we basically have the same thing again, but we're going to do all of the braking cells, steering and acceleration cells. So let's just grab them from here. So let's put that up here anywhere. I'm just going to line the the data up between the last question. So I can use this stuff again. So let's do 2 row of this and 2 row of this. So that's how many cells there are. And then this blue cell is actually the steering. So let's just put that into there. Let's move that across. I basically want to copy this for braking and acceleration. So let's lock this to the row. Just lock this fully, lock this fully, and we should be good to go to just move that across. Let's just manually pull these. And now we have the sum product of all of the sections here and this. So that's our lap time, and then we want to do times the modifier, which we calculated earlier, and we want to round it. So that should be everyone's times. Now question 7, we need to get a load of lap time, so I don't want to keep doing that en masse. So I'm going to actually turn this into a lambda. So let's just remove the rounding, I think. And our inputs are going to be the driver and the time. So mark as input cells. Then let's generate lambda statement. And this input can be start time. And then let's save lambda as. We'll call it lap time. So then I should be able to get everybody's lap time. So bonus 4 asks how many people have a lap time faster than Lorenzo at 11:55. let's quickly do that question. So we have 11:55 there. So I'm going to do equals lap time of this driver and this start time. So how many are lower than Lorenzo? Equals sum of minus this less than Lorenzo's. I need an extra bracket there. So it should be 7. And then the final question is a full race. So let's set this up in kind of a data table. So example 7. So first of all, let's pull the team. So filter drivers where this is the team. And we need to repeat that 4 times. So I can say vstacks 4 times. And let's have start time, end. So the race starts at 1600, and that should end at 18. And then this is always going to end at this plus 2 hours. So let's say 2 out of 24. So they should all get 2 hours on the track. I need to be careful here though, because if I go to general, you'll see that once we get past 1, this goes to 1 day and 2 hours. So actually you just need to minus 1 off of that one so that the lookups back to that endurance table still works. Now everything is within the day, so that's good. Let's do time again. And then I want to do laps. So that is lap time for Lorenzo starting at this time. So let's call it lap time. Now let's figure out how many laps he can fit into this time period. So how much time do we have? We have this minus this, and we need to convert that to seconds. So that's in proportion of a day at the minute. So let's get it to hours for 24, minutes were 60, and seconds like so. So he has 7,200 seconds in 2 hours. So we want to divide that by this to get the laps. This keep going to time format is annoying. So it's 32.3 laps. Now they can't complete partial laps, so we need to round it up. So let's say round up laps. So it's 33 laps, and then let's do the actual finish time, because he's going to finish slightly later than 6 p.m. So it's going to be 33 laps times the lap time in seconds. And we need to get this into proportions of a day. So we divide by 24, divide by 60, divide by 60. And then we plus on our original start time. So we finish at 2 minutes past 6, so 18:02. So our new start time for the next person is actually going to be this, which gives them less of a window here, which will alter the lap time. So I should be able to do this and this. And then we get a weird one here where we had our day thing to fix our lookup. So this, I imagine, is actually going to be 1 point whatever again. So let's put it back to time. And let's just say if that is greater than 1, do that minus 1, otherwise do that. And hopefully that fixes it. Yep, so this looks right. We have 344 laps, so we can do equals sum of this. And then if we just data table that, this should be our answers. And then the last bonus is how many pro teams will complete more laps than the lowest ranked prototype team. So let's just grab those out. So if I say unique of this. I'm making a video, calm down. Whoa. Okay, so there's my unique teams. Let's pull them over to my data table for a second. Then instead of this data table, I'm going to grab all the teams. I'm going to hard code this, and then I'm going to do a data table for all the teams based on that. And then let's do XLOOKUP the team in here, give me their result. And I want to find out what the smallest prototype team is. So that's the minimum of these prototype teams. So that is 273. Yeah, and then I want to know how many pro teams finish more laps. So equals count if pro teams is bigger than and this. So it's 10. So 10 is the answer. That's a full score. 5 more walkthroughs to go. See you next time.